Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and we are back with another weekly rotation video where I look at all 7 fragrances that I wore every single day last week. So if that is content that you want to see more, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on bell notifications so you are updated whenever I upload something new. Let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into it, starting with Sunday. So I think the theme that you're going to kind of see here with at least a few of the fragrances that I chose this week is fragrances that I would be willing to bet you probably have in your collection, but maybe you've forgotten about them. Maybe they've been overshadowed by the newer flanker, or they might be an alternative to a more popular scent. And that's kind of what we're looking at here today. This one would be the latter. This is an alternative to a much more talked about fragrance, I guess highly regarded scent that I enjoy myself, but this is a nice, inexpensive alternative to that scent we are talking about is Spice and Black Vanilla from Cremo. And what kind of motivated me to wear this one again was the fact that if you watched last week's weekly rotation video, you would have seen that my wife had got me for my birthday Palo Santo from Cremo, and I was really impressed with that scent. And Cremo just does a really good job with their fragrances. And this, of course, if you don't know, is I think a lighter, more aromatic version of Spice Bomb Extreme from Viktor and Rolf. It is definitely a legitimate replacement for that fragrance at a lower price tag. And as I said, I think this is just a lighter version, a little bit more aromatic, maybe a little bit easier to wear in more situations, just not as complex as that scent, which isn't a bad thing, I think, in this situation. This is essentially cardamom heavy, with some vanilla, some woods, and this kind of underlying cleanliness as well. So I really enjoy this one. If you guys, there's a chance that you've heard this one talked about quite a bit, or maybe you're just hearing about it for the first time, definitely revisit this one or grab a bottle. They're pretty inexpensive. I will link all of these fragrances down below. Spice and Black Vanilla from Cremo. And I should add that this also has pretty damn good performance too for the price. Shout out to my subscriber and friend Sal for not only sending this bottle my way some months back, but really introducing me to the house of Goldfield and Banks. Scent we are talking about is Silky Woods from Goldfield and Banks. And if you guys haven't tried this one, you really need to. Considered a niche fragrance, but I think very wearable, not overly challenging. I think you still really need to enjoy warmer, more ambery, resinous, tobacco-heavy fragrances. But the day that I wore this, I actually sprayed it on, walked out into the kitchen, walked by my wife. This puts off incredible sillage, amazing scent trail. All she could say was, wow, you smell so good, like a really nice cigar bar. And I know what she's talking about. This is a fragrance that, although it has a good amount of vanilla, not the scent that I would expect my wife to like because of the vanilla, but because just with my skin chemistry, I guess it's the note that she picked up more here is that tobacco note, and she loves it. And she doesn't like things like Mercedes-Benz Club Black, but she likes this one. It's a little powdery, warm vanilla, leather, and tobacco. And yeah, this stuff performs really well, perfect for the fall and winter. I love it. And I'm so appreciative of Sal for sending this my way. Thank you again, brother. Amazing scent, Silky Woods from Goldfield and Banks. So this next fragrance I would put into the category, again, nothing against Viktor and Rolf and the Spice Bomb line, but this one I think draws some comparisons to the original Spice Bomb. And this might be one that maybe you guys have wanted for a while, or you do have it and just don't reach for it as often. I love this one. The scent we're talking about is Bulgari Man in Black. And I think this is a just more sophisticated version of the original Spice Bomb. You have an addition here of a much more prominent leather note, a little bit more boozy, just smelling it in the air. It's just refined. It's maybe not as in your face as the Spice Bomb line, which is why I think this is a little bit more upscale smelling and refined. Although I would say that it's not as clean smelling as the Spice Bomb. In my opinion, this is one that I would wear with a black suit. I mean, the name couldn't be more accurate. I think, really dressed up nicely, going out to dinner, looking great, and feeling great with a scent like this. Performance is moderate on me. That's not saying that it's bad or excellent. It's kind of in the middle. And Alberto Marias is the perfumer on this. So one of his best, in my personal opinion. Bulgari Man in black. We had some cool weather this week, and I did reach for a couple fragrances that would be, I think, ideal, not only for the fall, but even the colder months here in New England. This is one of those fragrances scent we're talking about is Aaro Wanted by Night. And I think with this one, why it might not really be getting enough attention at the moment is because this has been really overshadowed by a flanker in the line, the Most Wanted. And as good as the Most Wanted is, I think this is the more unique scent. The Most Wanted is a great scent, just it does smell like other things from other houses. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes those fragrances that smell similar to other scents and other lines are an improvement over those fragrances and they become fan favorites, which is totally fine. This one, though, I still appreciate for its uniqueness, that warm fruitiness, the cinnamon here. It's just very comforting and inviting. It also balances the warmer notes with the more aromatic notes. So there's a ribbon of cleanliness here that is helped by the lavender. And I love that. I love that juxtaposition of warm and aromatic. I think it's amazing. The perfect balance of sweetness and performance here is amazing. Lasts a long time. Really performs in all aspects that you would expect. Longevity and, of course, projection. Aaro Wanted by Night. Don't forget about this one. On Thursday, I reached for a fragrance that I actually found in a rack store video a while back, and this is a niche fragrance that I paid under $100 for. I know that some places have this full retail. It's pretty expensive, but I know from time to time you can find this a little cheaper. I will try to find it cheap or cheaper, the cheapest I can find it, and link it down below. Scent we are talking about is Marai Essence Eau de Parfum from Patek Maison. And it's funny because when I had found this fragrance, a couple people had actually asked me if I had tried anything from Patek Maison, and I hadn't yet. This was the first one, and a really, really amazing introduction to the house. If I'm being 100 with you guys, my wife did not like this one at all on me. She thought I smelled like a candle, which wasn't what I really wanted to hear, and I'm sure it's difficult for you guys to hear too when your significant other doesn't like your fragrance, but that's neither here nor there. That's a whole other video topic. This starts off a little fruity and powdery, and then these florals rush in, and those florals are kind of white floral dominant. So initially you might expect that to be very feminine, and I was at first a little like, oh, okay, this is a feminine fragrance. But it evolves pretty quickly. If you take a look at the note breakdown of this fragrance, it's pretty complex, but it does evolve. It's not one of these fragrances that has a million notes and you can't pick out any. This does change as, the fragrance lives on your skin, and I just love how it evolves and how it changes. It does become more masculine, a little more ambery. I pick up more earthy notes to it and woody notes, vanillas, musks. So it really changes nicely. I love how it starts. Start to finish, it's an interesting fragrance, and I get really, really good performance from it. It smells high quality, so although it does have a higher price tag, I think that equates to better quality here. It doesn't always, but here I think that is the case. I think this is a higher quality smelling fragrance that I think will be perfect for the wintertime and just the cooler weather around the corner. Marai Essence Eau de Parfum from Patek Maison. So on Friday, I reached for the fragrance that I picked up in my most recent rack store haul that actually aired the same day. So if you're not watched that video, wait till the end of this video and go watch it, and I'll also link it down below. But the scent we are talking about is Guess Originals Type 3 Tobacco and Amberwood. Now, in that video, I was pretty critical of this fragrance. Wasn't my favorite. One thing I will say in its defense is that it did dry down and start to get much better the longer I had this on skin. And it actually performed admirably as well. One thing I pointed out in that video is how much I actually like the metal cap, the magnetic cap here. It's a good magnet too. The presentation, really nice. This kind of denim feeling label here. I thought the attention to detail was really nice. The color of the juice looks like it's a hit. And it does get better. It does get better as it dries down. The only thing is that in my collection, I have a couple fragrances already that I feel like do this scent structure a little better. Dunhill Egyptian Smoke is one that comes to mind. Amazing fragrance. Chopard's Rose Malachi is another scent where they're blending that ambery, floral sort of aspects of a fragrance and really doing great things with it. A little spice. There was something about this one that came across as food on my skin in the opening, and I wasn't crazy about that. And it was just a little bit too overwhelming for me personally. But I can see why some people would like this fragrance. It's just not one that I would reach for often enough to really pick up again. And because of that reason, because if you have fragrances like those two that I mentioned, you might just want to, this might be an easy pass for you. So yeah, but again, $20 perform really well and is an interesting fragrance at the end of the day. It is kind of different for the House of Guess, in my opinion. Guess Originals Type 3 Tobacco and Amberwood. Finally, on Saturday, I reached for what is easily one of my top 10 fragrances in my collection, scent we're talking about, is Burberry Touch. And this one, again, might be one of those fragrances that you guys haven't reached for in a while. Maybe you picked it up because it's a cheapie that is easily found at rack stores. You weren't crazy about it the first time you tried it. Maybe you were a little underwhelmed. I talk very highly about this scent, but I can also appreciate why someone might not really be blown away by this fragrance initially, because it has this really understated refinement to it. It's really subtle in the best way possible, and one that I would reach for in situations like I found myself in on Saturday. I took my daughter to church. We went to the Saturday Mass later in the afternoon, and I just thought, I don't want to think too much about what I'm going to wear. And this is one of those fragrances that works in public, places like that, at church. You don't want to really be overwhelming people with your fragrance. And this is really ideal for situations like that. It carries this ozonic freshness to it, like fresh air. It's peppery. It's a little bit spicy. And the name could not be more fitting here. Touch. I feel like everything about this fragrance was done with a light touch. Again, subtlety, but with intention. And that was the purpose of it. And they really nailed it. They truly nailed it. This is not going to be for everyone. It's not super sweet. Doesn't project massively. It's not in your face. There's nothing about it that when you first smell it, you're, again, blown away by it. You begin to appreciate what this does right. And that's its subtlety. And again, it's refinement. And I can't say that enough. I absolutely love this stuff. And for the price that you pay, it's a no-brainer. I get really good performance from my bottle, albeit it is an older bottle. Haven't really smelled the newer formulations of this, but from my understanding, they haven't changed much. The scent is still the same. Still amazing. Burberry Touch for men. That is it, guys. All 7 fragrances that I wore every single day last week. I always appreciate you guys watching these videos to the end. As always, would love to hear what you guys wore last week. Drop it in the comment section down below. But if you like what you saw today, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Hit that bell notification so you are updated whenever I upload new content. But until then, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next video.